How we all been?
Yeah, been good. Been good. Living on the coast up here. It's very living the charmed life. It's very relaxing. It's a good change from Sydney.
Yep.
Went and saw this El Mariachi show last night. Actually, a Mexican band at Gosford, which was really good. The singer actually has sung with Jimmy Barnes, Keith Urban, a few other people. It was incredible. Got that classic sounding. He plays a Mexican harp. And then there was two other musicians, one on drums, another one on guitar and bass, and just really incredible music. Great musicians, and everyone was dancing. I'm not much of a dancer, but with that music, you kind of have to dance. You know what I mean? It's infectious.
Yeah.
It gets in your blood. But that was cool. And what's that, mate?
I mean, like
People in.
like when you're dancing, it has to be spontaneous as well. Like all of a sudden, it's like you think, oh, I'm not a good dancer. Then your favorite song comes on, or you might even hate it. It's just like, hang on a minute, I'm just getting a little groove here. And then it all just starts from there, you know.
Before you know it, the toes are tapping, then the knees are tapping, then your whole body's in there.
That's
But
it.
no, it was awesome. And first time actually I had a couple of drinks in a long time.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so yeah, this morning I could feel it, you know. So I just woke up from a nap actually. Had a bit of a nana nap, yeah.
Quick
The old
power
body
nap.
can't take the booze anymore, which is good. Because, you know, us three gentlemen, we were the self-proclaimed power drinkers, anonymous, weren't we?
That's right. We all have our ups and downs, and that was one of them. So, yeah, I'm glad we're all on the tail end of that, which is great.
Yeah, finally growing up.
Exactly.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're all in our 40s now, aren't we? So we have to pull the button eventually.
That's right.
Unfortunately, it was later than probably should have been, but anyways, better late than never, as they say.
Okay? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
tell me about that beard. That beard is out of control. That's like ZZ Top. Far, that's bearded glory. That is. Jesus Christ, what do you use for that?
Years of growth.
Six.
Yeah, a few years.
Oh, okay.
It's funny. We went to a wedding a few months ago, and we met some people there. It was an American wedding, and while we were there, we were talking to people, and one of the guys said, "Oh, you look like Conor McGregor with that beard," and Storm says, "No." My wife said, "No, you don't. You do not." Anyway, we went into Brisbane a couple of nights later after the wedding. 3 people in one night walked up to me and said, "You look like Conor McGregor. Can I get a photo with you?"
Oh,
And
wow.
it was pretty.
Would you say, "Fuck off"? Yeah, wow. Okay, so you kept it.
You're doing nothing.
That would have been the perfect introduction to your accent for the rest of the night. Was just Conor McGregor for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Tough gig. No, it's a mighty beard, mate. It's fucking sensational for a guy who can barely grow one. I've got a patch there, so mate, you're like Hall of Fame for me, bro. You're like a fucking idol.
You just have to embrace it.
Through the middle too.
Yeah, there is some crazy video of me. It's called Rennie's beard compilation. It's just a picture of all different beards that I've had over the years. It's just a slideshow. I haven't seen it for a long time, but it does exist somewhere. But
my favourite's where the big lamb chops down the side, nothing in the middle.
Oh wow!
I was actually going to do that for this, but I figured I'd just keep it full for now. Like I got little bits that nothing grows there either. But yeah, it's all good.
You've got a bit of a rip from Yellowstone thing going on there, Nathan.
Yeah. Okay. Yellowstone. Yeah. You have to elaborate on that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Except Nathan's looks like it's natural, not bloody dyed like rips.
That's right.
It looks like it's not dyed, but you know it is. It's complete.
Is it? Yeah. Jesus, far you are ripped, mate. We got rip here. It's called the rip hour now.
Completely dyed. It's black. You know, instead of I get the silver line there. As cool as that would be, but yeah, just have to blend it all in now.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
So what's on the pipeline at the moment, Luke?
In the pipeline, developing a feature film. So I've made short films until now, made a few of them. You're involved with one. Actually, Ambrose was the dolly grip. It doesn't sound like much, but he had a very important role. So he was pushing the dolly. So the dolly is how you get moving shots. You'll notice in films, you watch a lot of Martin Scorsese films like Goodfellas, camera's constantly moving. It's good for energy. So in this short film, I wanted to replicate like a snake circling these guys, because it's this kind of hellish scene where they're playing poker and all their secrets are coming out. And I wanted it to like, they were prey for this snake. So we had the camera swirling around, and I needed it at a consistent pace. And Ambrose absolutely nailed it. It was a perfect pace too. And I'm a perfectionist, so I'm like, oh, we're going to go back. I need that line again, or I need that line done. Was change the dialogue a little bit, like constant direction on the fly. And he'd have to pull it back to a mark and then push it again with that same pace. So he was incredible. But yeah, I only made short films till now. But this feature I'm developing is called Full Nelson. It's my first foray into comedy. I'm sick of doing the dark stuff. A lot of people enjoyed my films, but they're like, you know, it's a little bit too dark for my liking. So I'm going to do a bit of comedy next. So it's about a father and son. They're entrepreneurs. They're actually arch rivals, though. And throughout the film, they have to learn to finally work together and not against each other to succeed before the next generation of Nelson arrives. So it's a strong message there of, you know, unity and family bond. And I guess the real meaning of success is family, not just financial. So that's where my head's at now. And I want to cast Brian Brown as Noel Nelson, who's the older one. I'm not sure about the younger one, but I've just been concentrating on developing that, writing it, honing it, location hunting. So I want to shoot it up here. Yeah, apart from that work, so I work at Fox Sports. You guys know, but anyone else doesn't. I work from home, which is great. I live on the Central Coast, like I said before. So just editing sports, basically, cutting replays of sports, which is great. I get paid to edit sport. Aside from that, you know, I was single up until June 2022. And then my my high school sweetheart contacted me, and all of a sudden I've gone from single to instant family. So I got a family of 6 now. So my partner had 3 children, and we've had another one together, a little baby daughter called Maisie. So my life has turned from complete like bachelorhood, by myself, do what I want, wake up, roast one, whatever I wanted, you know what I mean, to the complete opposite. And it's been a massive change of pace, but a very welcoming one. It's shifted my priorities definitely. Before I just did whatever I wanted, pretty selfish fella. But now it's good. Everything's been put in perspective for me, and I have a beautiful family. So that takes up a lot of my time.
Yep.
That, writing, yeah, smoking cigarettes outside. I enjoy that.
Still smoking?
I still smoke, yeah. Barely drink now, which is good occasionally. But I want to quit, but I found a place up here which sells $11 packets of cigarettes. So it's a little hard to quit when you can find them that cheap.
Yeah.
And not paying $30 to the government. But yeah, that's basically it. Just really honing the script. I want to shoot a teaser to try and get more money involved with Brian Brown. Probably, if I can't get Brian Brown, I'll use Paul Hogan. Yeah, that's really it, guys. What about you boys?
Yeah, well, yeah, go ahead, mate. Yeah.
You go now.
Oh yeah, well basically, suppose to introduce myself. My name's Nathan Rennie. With these guys, we all sort of spend a lot of time together. We growing up in and around Western Sydney area. All of us have had our own travels. We're now of age, so but yeah, it's just a great opportunity to not only catch up with each other and really just to display where we've been and where we want to go, basically. So that's basically an introduction on my side. I mean, like what Luke's doing at the moment is really getting his niche with his short films and movies and things like that. We've always spoken about that as we were growing up and touch base every now and then, but now things are really starting to move forward, and all of us are pretty excited about it. So that's my quick introduction, and yeah, I'm glad we could all be here.
Yeah.
What about you, brother?
Yeah, I'm here for the chat myself. Yeah, same thing. Grew up in Western Sydney with these 3 guys. Nathan, I've known a lot longer. Luke, not far behind. I think Nathan, we're coming up for nearly 40 years of friendship, aren't we? Pretty close to it.
Wow.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, like,
Congratulations. That's huge. Seriously, that is massive considering. Think who you knew in primary school, even high school, that you don't speak to anymore, that you could have sworn you'd be best friends with. 40 years. Congratulations, gentlemen. That is a hell of a bromance. That is commendable.
I think
it is quite amazing. It's quite amazing. I mean, like, we've known each other for a very long time now, and like growing up in that smaller community, Western Sydney. I mean, like, I want to talk about Western Sydney a fair bit in this, but you know, just crossing paths like between school, sports, and then families, like that's just how those sort of friendships grow and then stay. And like, even just this is testament of it. Like, we're in our 40s now and just sitting down all together. You know, we've all had different pathways, and this is just what brings us together. So it's great. Yeah,
totally.
Just incredible to think, when we're in our 20s, you know, even late teenagers, that we would be here having this conversation in our 40s. Families, got our own families, you know, and it's hard to imagine that we would get here. You can never see yourself at that age, can you?
No, you can't. It's unfathomable.
I think we've all had close calls, you know, here and there, and ups and downs. That's the beauty of this, you know, like getting this opportunity to really display ourselves and what the men that we've become. So it's a good opportunity.
Yep.
That's a great, you touched on something interesting then. Let's talk about those close calls, though.
Yes, we've all had a few.
Where do we start?
I used to say to Ambrose, like when we'd meet up and have a few drinks, I can't believe you're still alive. How are you not dead? That was like the first thing I'd open with. How are you not dead? You take the floor. You tell your stories, Ambrose. Shit, you could fill bloody whole freaking series full of them. Far out.
Where do we start? I think around when I was 21, I had a car crash that, I barely survived that. I was lucky to survive that, I think. Yeah, when you see the photos of the wreckage, I'd come through pretty much unscathed, just with a bone sticking out my leg and broken ankle. After wrapping my car around a telegraph pole. So that was a close call, and many other close calls with late night alcohol binges. I probably just scraped through, but that was a pretty touching time, really. I mean, like at the time, like I was starting on my own little ventures and whatnot, and I actually heard through the grapevine that you had an accident, and it straight away. I mean, during that time, there were quite a few people that I knew that had been through that process, and the end result wasn't very well. And so when I heard that, I just thought, here we go again. And so it was very, very relieving that you're actually okay after that. And it really did inspire me that, you know, you really need to stay close to your friends and really touch base, because you never know what's going to happen along those period of times. I mean, like we touched on before, we've known each other for, like, we're pushing 40 years now. So, it's just a note to self, you know, keep up those friendships and keep up those appearances. Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
I remember one time a friend of mine lived in DY, and he lived in three-story unit block, and his neighbour below him had locked himself out. And he came up and knocked on the door, and he said, "Do you mind if I hang here till some of our other friends come home with a key?" And I said, "Oh, why? What's happened?" And he said, "Oh, I locked myself out." I said, "What if I climb over your balcony, jump down and open your front door from your balcony?" He said, "No, you can't do that." And me, obviously, a few drinks, you know, full of courage.
You can do that.
Yeah, ended up getting lowered down onto the balcony below, which was like a 3 or 4 story drop. Went down, opened his door for him. I was proud as punch for helping him out. He's just like, "You are an absolute idiot. Why did you do that?" And the next day I went back to my friend's house and looked over the edge, sober, and I felt to my stomach why I had done it.
Do what you got to do, you know, like you need to pull that together. I mean, my first unit I had on the Gold Coast, I had a similar situation there, and for some idiot reason, I locked myself out of the house, and it was only me living there at the time. It's like, right, there's no one here. There's no one here to help me whatsoever. So I've got the barbecue, set it up on its side to then reach up and then try and bend the bars across and then open the window. And like, I'm like trying to get into these bars and it's just ridiculous. And then after almost falling down and going around to the front, I'm just like, this is just ridiculous. And then try to latch on the door opens. I hadn't locked it at all.
Oh, no way.
And I was just, all of a sudden, I was just like, all of that. And no one was there to see this at all. And so it did have a little bit of a dodgy knob on it sort of thing. But sure enough, the door just opened and I'd gone through this whole process and just a totally useless procedure.
That's a really interesting analogy, though, for life, isn't it? And for our mind, it's like we have all this power, all this potential, and we can use it anytime we want, but we just have to be smart enough to access it and actually, boom, use it. You know what I mean? It's like this power's there, but we kind of don't know that we have the ability and the control and to just turn it on, you know, and or open our minds up. You know what I mean? Instead, we kind of have it locked and we think, oh, we can't open that, but we can. Really, it's that simple. That's a really interesting analogy, yeah.
Yeah,
even though it happened to you for real.
It's almost that old saying, like fret or fight, I think is the choices you have. You can fret over something or you can fight. You know, it's two different things. And when you are confronted with a certain situation, you have no choice, but you have to act, and you have to act on that situation to make it a realistic, or for the better choice, the most ideal outcome for that choice.
Yeah.
You just have to do it.
Totally.
That's it. That's it.
It's not even intentional. It just switches inside your head. Now's the time to act.
Yeah, well, some do and some don't. I've seen some that just quiver and fall apart.
Yeah,
which is really scary, actually. I've seen that happen to a grown man. But yeah, you're right. You really know yourself in a situation. You know what I mean? Like when you have to sink or swim, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah, I guess that's
similar instance at one pub one night with
one pub.
Do you remember this one, Luke?
Castle Tavern.
You started off.
Oh Jesus! I drove past it.
Do you remember?
Do you want to fight? No, actually, no.
Jesus Christ! I drove past it and I was telling Cass, my partner, oh, you're not worth the murder charge. So tell the story from the start. Tell it from the very start when you were pissing on this car and this bloke, massive unit with two girls, one under each arm, comes walking up. And he goes, that's my car you're pissing on. And Ambrose is like, I don't give a shit. You take it from there, Ambrose.
Where were you this night?
I think that was about it. Yeah,
It's about it.
Tried to take on somebody I probably shouldn't have been taking somebody on. Yeah, and I think you end up finishing it for me, Luke. But
yeah. So, anyways, he wasn't doing so well, so I got involved with this guy fighting him, and it was about even. You know what I mean? But anyways, this is really cinematic. What happened next? He walked off, and I'm like, oh, okay, that was fucking simple. But nah, and he turned around under this street light, and it felt like it was in slow motion, like something out of American History X, where Ed Norton turns. He's covered in swastikas, and I swear it was slow motion. This guy, I seen him for the first time. I'm like, holy fuck, massive build, tats, and he's walking straight for me. And he goes, I'm going to jail tomorrow, and this is exactly what I need to sharpen up before I go. And I said, fuck this. And I said, mate, this is not my fight. I said, my mate's a smart ass. Let's just leave it. You know what I mean? And anyways, he wouldn't take no for an answer. So then he started on both of us. He tried to throw Ambrose through the back of the car. Eventually, we calmed him down. But not before Ambrose goes, oh, I'm not going to fight you because you're not worth the murder charge. I'm like, oh, yeah. And I have another mate of mine, Paulie, and another mate, Steve, and they're like, what's going on here? Eventually, we calmed this guy down. But, yeah, that's where we were. We were smart asses. Or mainly I would be there to kind of try and clean up for Ambrose. I was kind of his security team. And what else? And his drinking partner.
So it was like you were given the task of being security but chose not to.
That's it.
Yeah, well, I guess well, she should have seen this guy. It was unbelievable, man. And it just goes to show when you psych yourself out, you really take yourself out of the game, because I hadn't seen tattoos. I hadn't seen physique properly. All I saw was my friend in strife, and I just went in and helped. And like, he was no better than me, you know. I hate fighting, but, you know, it is what it is. And he was no better than me. But as soon as I saw him, boom, psyched myself out. And then it was, I guess, fret, not fight. You know what I mean? But anyway, we shouldn't have been in that situation because Ambrose was acting like a dickhead. I think that's the moral of this story. Don't act like a dickhead.
Open was my drink of choice at the time. So
yeah.
Open up a can of Fight Your Friends and Coke. That's what it is.
You're right. Yeah.
So I know Ambrose barred himself from that, which I thought was clever. Did you do the same, Rennie?
Yeah, there's definitely certain situations where, say, if you are drinking or you're surrounded by certain situations, as you get older, you learn what to do and what not to do, which is great. I mean, like when you're young, you just simply don't know those situations. And I think now that we're all older, we can definitely pick and choose, and we can turn back and laugh at it now. But ultimately, like making some of those decisions where it was definitely a mistake, and it is trial and error, and unfortunately, that is the way it is. But yeah, sometimes once that chord strikes, and it's either fight or fret. It really is. So
yeah.
But there's times in these, and you need to be quick thinking and hopefully make the right decision. I think that's not even to sum it up. There are certain situations where it is time to act.
Have you been in similar situations, Nathan? Like where you thought you had nowhere to turn, you couldn't back out, you're just stuck there, and you have to fight or fret?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, I can think back to a time when we were at a gathering in the mountains there, and this group of gentlemen that I knew them, right? I knew of them more, and they were stealing my friend's bike, and like generally, and they were loading it into a car, and generally, if I didn't know that it was someone that I knew's bike, I probably wouldn't think too much of it. But then, like, I instantly thought in the back of my mind, these guys are doing something wrong. They don't know whose this is, and I do know that their intentions are nil. They have no intentions. It's simply down to the fact that they are taking something, and they feel
they're scumbags.
Scumbags. Basically, they were stealing for the act of stealing, not for the act to help anyone. No, I'm not saying that stealing is correct, but there's got to be some damn good reason to do it, and they did not have one. And so I took the liberty of pulling these guys up and said, well, that's just not yours. It's not your bike. So what are we going to do here? What are we going to do? There were more of them than me, and I thought, well, this is the time. And so I instantly acted on my instincts, and I started swinging punches. And whether that was the right or wrong thing to do, but at the end of the day, I stood up for myself, and I stood up for my friend, and I was by myself at the time, and I had to act. And so that was neither or, fight or fret. It was instantly fight. I have to defend this, and I have to do what I feel is right. So yeah, there were some repercussions of that. Obviously there were more of them than there were me, but then it wasn't over then. Like that night was over, and it was months later that I came across the same group of guys, and they tried to start me. And of all places, it was at a fast food place, and there were too many people there, so they decided to keep walking. But that goes to show that my initial reaction to fight in that incident was probably a major part of them not taking action the second time. So you never know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that situation is resolved now, and it is a part of history. So
cool.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
What about yourself? Have you found yourself in those situations?
Yeah, too many times. In Australia, overseas. You've made me think of one time, actually. I was down at Chinatown in Sydney, just hanging with my mates. We'd had a few drinks at Covent Garden, and we were doing karaoke. We sing a lot of karaoke, which was fun.
I can tell that it really does.
Thank you. But we're outside, and we're talking to this, like they were lads, they were from like Southwest or something. They were cool. Until this Asian couple walked past, and they started giving them a bit of stick, and I'm like, just leave them alone, you know what I mean? They're doing nothing. They're not in your face or nothing. Just let them walk past. And then they turned on me. Before I knew it, I was surrounded by a bunch of them, and I don't back down. I said, you're a pack of dogs. Fuck lads, you and your all shit, all bait, it's shay, rap K, they're fucking whatever they talk, they're pig Latin. And all of a sudden, whack, I got hit in the side, and I went down to one knee. My mate Gabe goes, that's shocking. Don't do that. That's a dog act. And anyways, and they went to him, and then I'm like, nah, because he's only a small guy. He never had a fight in his life. And so I tried to get away from him, and boom, they've all just bloody swarmed on me. So I'm running, and I slip. And I remember actually soiling myself because I knocked myself out when I hit my head on the ground. So I've woken up soiled. And I'm trying to get into a pub, and I'm like, no, they go, you can't come in. You smell like crap. And so I literally knocked myself.
I'm probably watching this whole thing unfold. And just like this,
probably.
He's not coming in here. No way.
And so the next day I look back, my pride was bruised, my head was bruised, and and I'm like, would I have done that differently? Maybe I would have done it differently, but the fact remains, I still would have defended those two people because these guys were fucking assholes. And I'd rather cop one because I can handle it. And it's happened to me before, that similar situations. And knowing that they ended up walking through Chinatown fine, you know what I mean? Got back home and did what they do as a couple. But so a lot of the stuff has happened when I've come to people's defense.
Yeah,
I've noticed that, but I wouldn't change a thing. I'll still come to people's defense because I think it's very important. There's not enough people out there that are willing to help others in need. There's seriously fuck all anymore. We live in a generation where people just turn a blind eye. They either pull out a camera and film it, or they just bury their heads in sand. Yeah, a lot of stories overseas. Bulgaria, I had a sticky situation. Went over there to make a film with Dolph Lundgren, and the film fell apart. We ended up drinking a lot, and we kind of became alcoholics during that phase of our lives, to be honest. But a lot of black holes, a lot of fights. Stranded over there outside my 3-month visa limitation, so I was stuck. And the hotel where we were staying was run by a gangster. He actually kept our how's this? He was ranked like the number 3 gangster in the country. So they rank gangsters there like they do tennis players and golfers.
Oh,
but he was a nice guy until everything kind of fell apart from us. But I ended up getting my passport and getting out of there and going to Greece, and then flying from Athens to Australia. But yeah, like you said before, man, we made a few mistakes, but with every mistake, I think we've brought ourselves closer to being complete humans, and we had to make more mistakes than others. And that was just our rite of passage, I guess. So many mistakes. Like, we could rattle them on forever, but it's good that we're here alive. We're here with the wisdom and strength to be able to see those mistakes for what they are. They're stepping stones. They're forks in the road. And they did make us more resilient. They did make us more complete humans. And without them, I don't think we'd be the men we are today. We're still obviously not complete, nowhere near it, but that's what I think life is. I believe in past lives and reincarnation. So I think the lessons that we don't learn in this life is what we have to learn in the next life. It's almost like a video game where you make it to like a checkpoint, and then you start at that checkpoint next. You try and make it through more and more of this game to the end. And when you're complete, when you find perfection, there is no such thing as perfection in my eyes, though. It's an illusion.
Exactly right.
What was I going to say? Yeah, so you learn all these stories. Sorry, not stories. All these life lessons, and then we pass, and we have that. That's our subconscious, I believe. So we have all these lessons tucked in our subconscious, but we still have so much to learn, and that's the mission of the next incarnation, the next soul, the next life that our soul takes. And that's what I believe, to be honest. Yeah. I like to, maybe it's just, me coping with my mistakes and whatnot, but hey, there's going to be more mistakes too. I know it, but they're not going to be silly mistakes. Like, they're not going to be booze fueled mistakes. So I pulled the pin on drinking at a certain time last night, and I didn't try and get any booze on the way home, So learning from those, but yeah, that's kind of my philosophy on life there. Very well said. You're not going to make mistakes. Yeah, thank you.
Very well.
You guys.
Yeah, very well said. I mean, like, learning from your mistakes, it is crucial is the wrong word, but like, mistakes are going to happen.
Always.
You always learn from that, and if you can come out the other side with a positive approach, and then a clearer way of thinking, or a more direct approach, so you're well suited for the next, then I think that is lesson learned. Like, there's no 100% outcome from any situation. If you ask me, if there's 100% outcome, then everyone will be rolling around absolutely crazy, and basically life will be boring, if you ask me. So you learn from your mistakes and try and be as correct as possible. But without that, we wouldn't have entertainment, basically. So I think that's a good way to kind of look at that. Daniel, do you have a perspective here?
Pretty much exactly what you guys said. Totally believe in reincarnation. I definitely that's a thing for me. And basically, what you haven't learned in this life, you'll learn in the next, and so on and so on and so on until you get it right. So
yeah, I can kind of vouch for that as well. I mean, like, what I see as our life is basically it's cut into sections regardless. So like you go through different stages of your life. Like, you know, you're growing up, and I spent a lot of time overseas, and now I've been inside Australia for a long time. In essence, like that is 3 different lives I've lived already. So like to say that's almost like in a indirect way being reincarnated, you just a change of scenery is the thing that has changed. So adapting what you have learned from a previous experience into your new experience, I think that is almost like a learning process that you take naturally.
Reinvention is, I respect artists, sports people, anyone who reinvents themselves without losing the essence of themselves. I think it's very wise, and I can see you doing it, mate, which is, I think it's commendable too.
Yeah. I think
thank you.
All 3 of us have all had issues with alcohol, and that life, that in a way that's a life, and that's probably what you were getting at, Nathan. But we've learned to overcome that life, you know what I mean, and now we're learning the life without alcohol.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And the irony is that life isn't much of a life at all. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because you have very little control. Like, I would not know what I was going to do. I would black out. We all would black out, you know. So we weren't at the wheel. It's like we were being controlled. And I read something interesting like this. They're called spirits. And you guys were the same, okay, with the beers, but as soon as your spirits took over, it was like we were almost possessed by a spirit. You know what I mean? And I would hear stuff that I'd done, and I had a former flatmate, Ambrose, his name was Matt, one of my closest mates, and he's like, you said something last night and you shifted. He's like, you became something else. You know what I mean? So it's not, we're not in control, so it's not our life, you know. So that's a great irony there, but yeah, I totally agree with you, Ambrose. Fuck, it was our lifestyle. You know what I mean? We shaped everything around it. That's and right. We were so proud to do it, and we wore it like almost like we glorified it. You know what I mean? And I think that happens a lot in this country. It happens a lot in culture.
What was our phrase earlier, Nathan? Love thy fellow loon.
Love thy fellow loon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, although it sounds kind of funny, but you know, it also sort of coincides by you learn from other people's mistakes, and then you respect that. Like if you respect thy fellow loon, then you understand what being a lunatic is, when that person is probably just having a great time, you know, but really their activities and their what they are during that time of being a lunatic might be the best idea they've ever had, is to do all these crazy things. Like, I've got a great idea. I'm going to be an absolute idiot right now, and this is great. But like from the outside looking in, you need to respect that, and you learn from that. It doesn't mean you do it. You know, it's not monkey see, monkey do. That is such a bad and old school saying of looking at things like monkey see, monkey do, which is correct. But it takes, as you get older, you understand that, you know, monkey see, he can do it, but that is not my pathway at all. Time to beeline it and swerve the situation. It could even be swerve by a fellow loon as you get older.
Yeah, exactly. The saying I had for my drinking was, I'm a god after 5 beers, but the devil after 10. Yeah. But nah, you know, drinking was a huge part of our lives, and I think it's a big message for people out there, you know. Have your fun, but keep it in check, and, you know, and if you can't stop yourself, and if it is causing problems, if it is breaking relationships, if it is fraying the fucking your sanity, well, then just stop, because it's not worth it.
Like, seek help.
Yeah, and if you can't stop, seek help. Yeah,
ask your friends. Ask your friends.
That's right. Even asking complete strangers, you know, what their opinion is. I think you honestly get a more genuine opinion from a complete stranger, because guaranteed that person has been through or seen a similar instance of someone going on a pathway which they shouldn't be on. And so, like, you can learn from not mistakes, it's the wrong way to say it, but learn from their experiences in order to better yourself. And I think, like, talking to a complete stranger is a good way to do that. I mean, there's places out there where you go and have counseling where they are a complete stranger. You know, sure enough, they've had and they follow their guidelines to then get the most out of you, and that's a good thing. But even a complete stranger can do that. So, being open and honest, I think, is the key.
Yeah, exactly, with everyone. Yeah. So you tell us about your mountain biking, mate. So you got a jersey back there.
Yeah, well,
still involved?
Yeah, definitely still involved in mountain biking. It's been a massive part of my life for a long time, and it's very much up and down roller coaster ride that was. I mean, like having the determination to become #1 on many different levels. You know, there was ups and downs during that's for sure. And choosing your battles. I mean, there was times when I was overseas where I literally had, no one with you and be lost somewhere in a country where you don't speak the language, you don't know anyone, and you have to get to a destination. All you know is what it is, not where it is. So, I mean, I think traveling in general was the biggest part of being a professional sports person, because you learn so much along that time. I mean, even just getting from A to B when you don't know the language and you don't even know what to eat.
Yes.
You get on the big, this big metal object that takes you to a place where you can't even pronounce where it is, and then all of a sudden you get off and you don't know anything at all, and you're just like, okay, now I'm here. What do I do? You have to act. It goes back to the fight or fret. You have to fight, no matter what. There is no fret. That plane has left to go somewhere, to take some other idiot to somewhere he doesn't know where he's going, so you can't really escape that, and you have to act, and so, I mean,
grow up.
Yeah, like I remember convincing myself after I traveled for a long time. I might just add now that I tried to add up how many flights I've been on, and I got to 610 flights in my life. And then I was like, okay, that's enough. I mean, like, I'm not going to fly ever again. It's just like, okay, come to the realization that is a lot of flying around. But anyway, I mean, like, as soon as those airport doors open, every single person in that airport now works for me. That is what it is. You just go through those doors, they open up. This is now my area. Everyone works for me. And so then you go there, you've got your passport, you stand in line, you be that courteous. But all of a sudden that passport goes over there, then it is on. My sole objective is to get from here to there, then on the concrete bird, right? Not meta concrete, but it's
concrete bird. Jesus, you wouldn't go too far.
Expensive. The fuel prices, of course.
The concrete bird.
Okay, so the big metal cylinder full of concrete and idiots. Okay, that's what it is.
And idiots, Jesus.
Yeah, idiots. Well, you can't speak the language. Everyone needs to get there, and people with jet lag, and everyone's disgruntled. There's just like people are on there, like they've got their Hawaiian shirts on and whatever. We're going on a fantastic holiday, and they get on a plane with me on it, and all of a sudden they regret going to Hawaii completely. But that's what traveling is, like I said, those doors open and then you are a completely different person as soon as you go into the airport. Pros and cons, of course, but, obviously have your manners, there's a nod involved. Respect thy fellow loon as you go along. But, we live in a world where you have to fly. You do have to fly these days, and it is this amazing thing. And like, thank goodness too. They say the Wright brothers, but I'm pretty sure there were others that were trying to do the same thing. It's not like, hey, what are those guys doing? Let's just continue on our merry way. That didn't happen. So, but yeah, hats off to people embracing traveling and getting the urge to travel. And I've done a lot of it, and I'm pretty happy that I have, and I'm pretty happy to slow that process down, which is great.
What would be the coolest you've been to?
Coolest place?
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know. Like, I mean, there's so many cool places, and there's so many little places that you just want to. Like, as I was traveling for such a long time, I wanted to stop at the dingiest little place just to find out what was going on. It's like, okay, so the car's broken down, or some situation has happened where you have to stop. Either like, you're driving around, you're too tired, you have to stop. You have no idea what's going to happen. So you pull up at some hotel and you go into the room. It's like, what is there to do here? There's nothing. There's a drink machine and a food machine and a bed, and that is you. And so it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go for a walk. And then you just bump into someone one day and they end up having the most interesting conversation. And you're just like, really? Is that true? I don't even know where I am. And I'm all of a sudden having this crazy conversation with a lady that I have no idea, I've never met before. I think that's the best part about traveling. And like, people have this idea. It's like, I'm going to go to this crazy place and I'm going to have such a long time. It's the journey there, which I think is more interesting to you. You know,
Yeah.
Let's face it. I mean, like I've been on like trips where basically 2 days of traveling to get to your destination. That's 48 hours. You know, like if you just go along the way, you meet people and talk to people, learn about them as much as they can. I don't care if they lie to me. If they tell me some crazy lie, it's even better, you know, because like you can read between the lines there and it's just like, now I'm just having a great time. Listen to this absolute rubbish. It's awesome. You know, so but yeah, it's full of ups and downs, but I really enjoyed it. Wouldn't change the word for anything.
Yeah. I haven't traveled a lot of maybe 5, 6 countries I've been to, but and not for a few years. So looking forward to an overseas holiday in the next few coming years. Not sure where, but suggestions. But anywhere.
What would you want? Would you want architecture? Would you want, I don't know, history? What's your fancy?
Always, an Egyptian nut. So I'd love to go to Egypt.
For the Egyptian look. I don't know if that. I don't know what that is.
Braided up into a bit of a Tutankhamun-esque
whatever you like.
But yeah, it's not the kind of destination for a young family, I'm guessing. But so
why not? I think it is.
I think a bit of unrest over there at the moment.
In Egypt, is there?
Possibly in that sort of area, but
okay.
You got to remember, like, there's unrest everywhere. You know, like you walk down the street and there'll be some sort of unrest going on, guarantee you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Doing plenty of unrest.
Where's that?
You just don't know.
Oh, Doonside, yeah. Good old Dooney.
But yeah, no, beach holiday. Yeah, maybe Vanuatu, somewhere like that. We've been to the Cook Islands. That fantastic spot, Rarotonga. Great place for a family. So maybe head back there. But yeah, I'm the same. I just like meeting new people, checking out the customs there, see what people how people live. It's
it really is amazing.
You see your own surroundings every single day, and you become used to it and accustomed to it. Then you travel, you see how other people live, and it's eye opening.
Yeah. So. I have a thing when I get to different countries, I can't get a cab from the airport to my hotel. I have to do it as like locals would, even though most locals would probably get cabs, but I have to get public transport and figure it out on the fly. I think it just adds to the fun of it.
Yeah. Living.
Yeah.
It's
so easy to get a cab.
Yeah, it really is amazing. Like you throw yourself into some place where you know nothing, and all you have to do is show a little bit of kindness and respect, and people will help you. You know, especially at somewhere like an airport. Like say if you're there and your bags are on the road, on the side of the pickup area or whatnot, someone will help you regardless, or even offer to help you. I mean, like I've done the same thing. I mean, it's the same as picking up a hitchhiker. Like some of the amazing stories that I've heard just come from guys you pick up on the side of the road, and like even just it's more fun to guess. You know, I'm like this guy or girl, like what brought them to this position where I'm picking them up from this destination. You know, it's almost more fun to think of what brought them to this point right now, and now I'm helping them get to another scenario, which could be great. It could be a total guess. It could be, yeah. It's just amazing what you find out from a complete stranger, basically.
Yeah.
I find a lot of the time too, taxis and transport like that overseas tend to rip you off as well. It's a good way to be ripped off. So, Thailand, for instance, tuk-tuk drivers, terrible at the scam. They take you to every jewelry shop, even though you've asked to go to your hotel. They'll take you to every jewelry shop on the way. Oh, we just one more. No, no more. Just trying to sell you jewelry because they get a commission. So.
But I've got a quick story if you want to hear it. Like I'm traveling, like you just never know what you're going to get. So this is the box of salt. I mean, this could be an episode on its own, but like so, I was in some dumb country, and one thing I didn't have was a video camera, and so like this is going back quite a time when you didn't really have a video camera, and so this guy had this camera, and it's like this is awesome, and he's showing me this camera. I'm like, you know, this is exactly what I wanted this whole time. I'm going to buy this camera. This is great. And so then he had his little sports bag with him, and it's just like, oh yeah, it's totally fine. It's like, how much money do you have? And like, I'd been traveling for a while, so I went through my wallet and I had some euros in there. I had some pounds and like whatever. He's just like, oh yeah, that'll do, that'll do. And I was just like, oh, is that enough? And he's just like, yeah, that's fine, sweet. And so I gave him the money, and then like he kind of pissed around for a little while, and then he got the he got his like little bag out, and then he put it in the car, and I'm thinking, oh sweet, nice guy, and he's just putting it in the car for me, great. He went, and so I jumped in the car and we had to leave, and it's like fine. And so I got a little bit suspicious. So like, how come this guy left? You know, like maybe he's in a hurry, he's just gonna go somewhere. My friend in the back seat there, she had a knife with her, and so she like tried to open his bag, and it was glued shut. And so straight away I was just like, right, what is happening here? This could be anything. You know, why is the zipper shut on this bag? You know, and so tried to open it, got a knife, cut it open, newspaper. In the middle was a box of salt. A box of salt. That's what it was. And it was salt for your wounds, because you just, just been ripped off. Thank you for applauding my misfortune, guys. I appreciate you applauding my misfortune. But that's what it was. And I kept that box of salt. It was in my trophy cabinet for a long time. I don't have it now, though. I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, it was literally a box of salt. It was salt for your wounds. Cost me about 320 euros for that box of salt.
Hey, I think it's well worth it.
Well,
it's a memento there, which reminds you it's a fucking piece of history.
Yep.
It really is amazing to think that. And like even yeah, like when he was showing me that the camera worked, like he was going through the he's like, yeah, see, it works, and rewinding and playing it, and there was all these other people on this camera, and I was just like, oh yeah, maybe he's just like, you know, that's his holiday, he's just filming people. But these were other people that he had ripped off. You know,
other salt.
I was looking at the playback on the video camera, and those are other people. And obviously he kept that with him after he'd recorded me and showed me, oh, look, it works. Here's you, idiot, about to get ripped off. And I packed it away. That went into his car. The box of salt went into mine, and then that was it. Salt for your wounds, sir.
Yep.
Oh wow! So you're in the montage to the next person you ripped off.
Exactly. I'm the idiot that gets played to, like, this is your camera. There's probably people at home here thinking that's a pretty damn good idea. Actually, I'm gonna try that, but do not do that. It is just very dumb. And under unique circumstances, I probably would have tried to act on it. But I think the story is better to have, and lesson learned on top of all of that.
Yeah, no, you paid money for a good lesson, and a little memento, a little trophy, a little reminder there.
Yeah, I did. So naive. I did keep that box of salt for a long time. It was in my trophy cabinet, but it's gone now. I did a clean out, and I thought maybe this is over. The story still remains, so that's what it is. That's what it is.
I had a similar innocent incident, not on such a bigger scale, but we're in Bali, and in a van, like a tourist van, and pulled up at the Seven Lights. And I used to love reading the newspaper, the Sydney newspaper. And there's a young kid on the side of the road with a plastic bag stuck to the side of his head, like a hat, plastic bag. Yeah. And he's got the papers. And I said, oh, that guy's got the paper. And he said, oh, yeah, stop and get it. And I said, yeah, okay, yeah. Open the window of the bus. Said, how much? And we'd only just got there, so I didn't really know the equivalent money, all that sort of stuff. So I think I handed over about $5 Australian, bought a newspaper. It was all wrapped up in plastic, me thinking it's brand new, the newest edition paper. And anyway, drive up the road, unwrap it. It's about 6 months old. I'm like, man, we're getting this kid. Let's go.
6 months old.
Don't worry about it. Let it fly. No, let's go and get this.
We've done it again.
But so another lesson learned. Yeah.
So did you read the 6-month-old newspaper at least?
I read it. I'd read that same paper.
It's like you've got your bit of paper. It's like the guy that has the newspaper, but he's got a different magazine in there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a Playboy inside, like a Better Homes and Gardens or something, whatever the fuck a magazine is.
Yeah. We've all done it or want to do it or something like that.
Yeah. Have any similar stories from Bulgaria? Like,
Well, one night I had an incident where I got drunk and basically thought I was in Motley Crue and ripped apart a hotel room. And there was this chair, and it wasn't much. But the next day, apparently, all of a sudden, it was this ancient chair worth $600, and I had to pay $600. And I'm like, I'm not paying $600 for that chair. I'll go to a flea market and find a better one for $20. And they're like, no, this has come directly from rank number, whatever he was, gangster. You owe $600 for that chair. He wants it. And I said, okay, no worries. So I paid $600 for a chair, which he could have put any price on, you know. That's one incident. Geez, I can't remember much really. Everything's just patchy from that phase of my life.
Look, you were ripped off.
Yeah.
That chair was not. That was a chair.
Yeah, I know. It did have some gold trimming on it, but it wasn't like it wasn't much.
I think several people have sat in that chair, important and non-important people. But the thing is, you gave them $600. That's what it was.
Well, I wasn't not going to give him $600 because, yeah, you gave this guy $600 if he wanted $600. Put it that way.
Yeah.
But what else? Jeez, there's probably more stories, but I just can't remember them.
Yeah.
Which is probably good. I remember enough. But yeah, $600 for probably like a $20 chair. It's a bit steep.
Yeah.
But hey, lesson learned. Yeah, don't go mucking up hotel rooms because yeah, you will have to pay the price literally.
Exactly.
Especially in Bulgaria, former communist country, and I can understand that they have hustles there, you know, because they were under communist rule so long. So yeah, it's about survival for them, and it's about earning $5 instead of $1. You know what I mean? So they try and milk it, and that's just what happens there. And I should have been wiser and not so naive and realised that, and respected their country too, to be honest. But anyways, that was one of my many life lessons to learn.
Yeah,
but it's a beautiful country. Beautiful country. The architecture there is amazing. A lot of it like that brutal kind of communist style, but a lot of it very classic European too. It's actually a very nice country. Very nice country. It's a shame I wasn't of sound mind for the whole time there, because I think I would have appreciated it more.
You definitely, you learn a lot of lessons when you travel quickly.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Far out. Jeez. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, just throwing yourself in the deep end like that when you do travel. I mean, I think it is important to have some wits about you as you go along. Like you do have to be prepared for these situations, no matter what. Although, like, you never know what's going to happen around the corner. You know, I mean, I've had some incidences where you arrive in some country and your bag doesn't show up. You know, and it's not due to anyone's. It's a simple mistake. You know, that your bag isn't there, and all of a sudden you're living out of whatever you had in your backpack, and you're in the same clothes for 3 days in some hotel room, and you have nothing really. And you don't even have your address book with phone numbers in it to do anything. So you just have to adapt. You know, so that's what traveling really does teach you, like your adaptability to certain areas and people. Like instinct just like instantly kicks in, and you're able to overcome these certain situations.
Again, fret or fight, you know, sink or swim.
That's it.
Totally.
We've come back to that a lot today. Hang on a sec, 1 second. I'm just filming something. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Sorry, James.
You're right.
I got a lolly. Lucky me.
Oh yeah, now he's just showing off now. It's just like,
I think a Vietnamese pork roll too. But no rush. There was another incident in New York. Oh, is that a cream egg?
It was a cream egg.
Watch him now. He's a magician. He'll make it disappear.
Completely disappear.
Yeah. Oh wow. Blue tongue lizard.
I like it.
This is little Bono here.
Hey Bono.
Hello. We're filming it's called a podcast, where you just talk about life and talk about like passions, what you're interested in. So Bond here has a blue tongue. He's Blue Tongue Lizard Bond. Oh, check that out. Wow. How cool.
Impressive, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I ask, how did it get so blue?
How did it get so blue, buddy?
Not texture, is it?
I had this little film, and I linked it, and it was like a little bit sour. So I drank it all. It was so yum.
Drank it all. So you drank it all. That's where the blue tongues come from a whole drink. Far out. That's crazy. That's crazy. You had a dance last night to the Mexican music. Loves it. The El Mariachis. I'll come out in a little bit, buddy. Thanks for dropping in, mate. You'll be the highlight of the episode.
He reminded me of had that kind of same twang voice to when I was a star on Romper Room. Look at my belt.
Yeah,
tell that story.
Yeah. It sounds like you're going to tell the story regardless, so go for it.
Oh, if I may.
Well, here's something I got prepared earlier.
Yes, I think I was about 4 years old, and Mum put me onto Romper Room, which was a TV show at the time for young kids, and I think they had was it Busy Bee or Mr. Buzzy Bee or something like that. That was the
It wasn't Mr. Doobie, was it?
Mr. Doobie, that's him. Mr. Doobie. Yeah. But, that's where it all stems from.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's blame Rumpus Room.
Yeah, it's all of a sudden I'm buzzing.
So
we did used to get quite a buzz going on, didn't we?
We did. Didn't
oh, bad dad joke.
But yeah, we're in the middle of a song. I don't think it was live TV, but anyway, middle of a song, and I've interrupted the teacher mid-song. Hey, look at my belt! And she's had to. They pulled the
first time she'd ever seen a belt before.
Pulled the music.
In your defense, it was a rainbow belt. It was a pretty awesome belt, eh?
It was. She's like, oh,
colours
on there. Are they? What colours have you got there? You can see the gaff coming over from the side of the screen, ready to pull me up.
Who is this kid?
No, he's good. Okay, let's let him. But that was a good experience. That and I've still got the tape today. So
I've seen that actually. I have seen that.
Yeah,
I remember that we were sitting around one time, and it's really old footage, isn't it? Like, yeah, like back when we had cassette tapes, whatever you call it, VHS, or the other one, Beta, I think it was. Yeah, I have seen that. It's dumb funny. It's awesome.
Yeah, it was back in
good.
They were simpler times.
They were, weren't they?
Yeah.
The 80s. God, I love the 80s still.
So do I. Everything.
The music, movies, everything.
Yeah.
What's that?
Everything from the 80s is coming back now.
Yeah, because it's so good and it deserves a second, third, probably fifth win by now.
That's it. Movies, unfortunately, mullets.
Yep.
I've had a decent mullet before. The best mullet ever, actually. But yeah, it's definitely good. I love how things go in circles like that. I mean, I know, like, I've got a mountain bike background, and what's happening at the moment, excuse me, is like they're bringing back like the vintage mountain bike thing. So all these mountain bikes that were made in like 1990s, they're all coming back and having this big comeback, and they're actually having events on where I'm actually going to an event in the next few months. There's like a vintage mountain bike reunion, I guess you're going to call it. Like, there is going to be a race on, but it's just great to come back and, like, much the same as we are now, having chats about the past, and obviously there'll be stories coming out then. So I'm looking forward to that.
That sounds awesome.
Remade bikes.
Well, not pre-made, well, manufactured during that period of time. So
yeah, they're vintage bikes being used once again.
Exactly, yeah. So I've got a group of bikes that I've kept. Some have sentimental value and some I absolutely hate, but like they all have a story with them, and that's what it's going to be all about. So it's going to be fantastic.
Why do you hate them? Just out of curiosity, is it like a physical thing, or is it memories associated with certain bikes?
Memories associated with certain bikes. It's a unique relationship that you have with your bike. It's a love-hate relationship. It is. I mean, like, obviously I've had a lot of time riding and racing bikes, a lot. And like, there's some days where you look forward to it, and there's some days where you look at your bike in the morning, it's like, now I have to take you as fast as I possibly can from the top of that hill to the bottom of that hill, and I hate your guts. You know, like this is just like a love-hate relationship, and then you come through that finish line and you've actually had as close to near as possible good run as you can, and then you love it. You even you hold it and you catch it in the air as your chariot, and you're I love you so much. This is amazing. It's like a whole experience in its own, which that's what I fell in love with racing downhill. It's just such an up and down relationship. I mean, you absolutely don't want to be there. It's snowing. There's people flying everywhere. You have objectives to follow that you don't want to do, and your sole objective is to take your steed, which you hate at times, as fast as you possibly can. It is your chariot to victory. It's an awesome experience to have, and like all of your good work and premeditated ideas and your goals can either be held at the top, or it can completely be wiped off the planet, and then you have to regather your thoughts and do it again another time. I love it. I absolutely love it.
So what happened? Why what was the like defining moment in your mountain biking career which kind of took you out of that scene?
Well, I mean, like people retire for a lot of different reasons. I mean, like I like to think that I'm semi-retired. I think everyone likes to feel that, but you know, really it was like eventually you have to sort of you have to realize that you pretty much have missed out on a large portion of your life. I mean, like I first started racing overseas professionally at 18 years old, and that's when life begins basically. And so, like from a young age, I was traveling around the world and achieving goals and having these up and down periods, and even telling the stories that I have today. And like, it really just came to the point where I should probably pull my head in a little bit and stop pushing the button so much. And like, one of my goals was to have a family, and eventually did that and have the big house and everything. And, you know, times change, of course, but yeah, I really found it was time to come and maybe pull it up. And I'll tell you one thing, actually, like, we all embrace the feeling of being nervous before an event or race or something upcoming, whatever it is. And there started to be a couple of races there, big races that meant a lot to me, where I wasn't getting nervous anymore. I wasn't getting nervous at all. I was about to try and accomplish these amazing feats and challenge myself and basically risk severe injury. And I wasn't worried at all, not even nervous. And it was like, okay, this is sweet. And in the back of my mind, I didn't tell anyone. I was like, maybe it's time to maybe pull this up, you know, like half the enjoyment is the fact that I'm getting this major buzz out of racing. And if I'm not nervous, then it's basically just following a formality. So
you've lost that the passion for it.
Oh, the passion's still there. I mean, like, you still love winning, that's for sure. But like after you've won a few times, it's more like that great elation of winning goes away. Now, to any aspiring athletes that are listening to this, don't listen to it. But, you know, it's really like all the excitement is in the lead up to that race. And when you win the pinnacle of all races, it's more relief than anything else. It's just like, yes, I've completed this goal. Oh, I'm so exhausted. I'm not going to do anything now.
Yes.
Thank goodness I have done that. Now I don't have to do it again. You know, it's like that is the relief, and that is what you realize. You try so hard for so long, and you reach that number 1 position. It's just like, I've done it finally. Yep. You know, it's just such a, like, the weight is off your shoulders. I can do it. And a lot of people do get caught up in it, where it's you know, you see those people like, when are they going to win? When are they going to win? When are they going to win? And it goes on for years and years and years, and it builds the suspense, builds the suspense, builds the suspense. And then they win, and it's just like, oh, he won. Who's next? And all of a sudden you're forgotten completely because you've won. It's like, who's the next idiot who's trying to do this for so long? You know, like, it's not an anticlimax. It's just the fact that it's you've ticked that box. Time to move on.
Fair enough.
What
was your first big win?
First big win was the first time I won any of it.
Yep.
That was it. The first time you win something. I mean, like, really, like, at a young age, I went over to California, and then, like, you're seeing all these guys in the videos that you see, you know, you aspire to be them, and all of a sudden you're in the start hut with all these guys that you look up to, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm here. And then these guys are going off before you, which means that I've qualified faster than them. that's an eye opener to begin with. And you're like, damn, you know, I'm beating my idols right here. I'm beating them. And then you get to the bottom of the hill, and like one run in particular race, I finished in 6th place, but my name was basically in the middle of my idols, you know, and like I had this massive realization. I wasn't happy, sad, or anything. I was just like, now I'm here. This is me, you know, and now I'm going to be the guy in the videos, and I was, you know, and so it was just this real, it was relief than anything else. It wasn't the fact that I did well. It was the fact that I can do it. I'm not kidding myself anymore. I can do this, and then continue to do it for a long time, which I was very happy about.
Yep.
So you say it was emptier than you thought it would have been at that. You there?
I am here, but
yeah. Sorry, I just had stepped out of walking.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, so that's interesting actually. So you're saying that, yeah.
It's like you see people on podiums, and they just hands in the air. This is amazing accomplishment, and the champagne's flowing and all that stuff. That's 3 minutes of it, and then you go back to your hotel room, and regular life. That's it. That's it. Sure enough, like you feel grateful and you've achieved something, but it's more relief than anything else. So the feeling of relief is that winning feeling, is that I'm not kidding myself. I can do this. I've done it now. This is amazing. And look forward to the next challenge, that's for sure. And you do have to have the next challenge. I mean, like I might even say this because young athletes or young aspiring anything, if you have a goal, then like make sure that you have other goals as well to accomplish. I mean, it never finishes. I mean, definitely work to your goals and accomplish them, but it's not over yet. Like life isn't over. I mean, I made it to world #1, and then I was like, well, what do I do now? You know, and to a degree, it was like, well, what do I do now? And then I tried to stay as long as I could at the top, and I was still near the top, which I was very happy for, but you know, it wasn't as good as that first win, basically. So embrace it. Embrace is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Who was your biggest rival, and did you ever manage to beat that person, or?
Oh yeah,
he's beat.
Flogged him. But no, I mean, like as far as like when I started to realize that I knew that I could be at the top, then it was just like, okay, now I know that I can do it. Now I'm just going to start kicking goals and ticking those boxes. And it did sort of become a job as well, which is sad to say, but if you love your job, you never work a day in your life. So that's just what I kept reminding myself and kept me going. I came up with new ideas to keep me interested, like we did distance jump record, and did some other not personal events, but like some freeride events, and just try to mix it up. And I still have things that I want to achieve in the future. I want to do land speed records, so that's something in the pipeline. I'm in the process of building up a bike for that. So it never ends. Just goals change a little bit, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. Tell us about that land speed record. What is the record?
See, there's a little bit of ups and downs. There's different records. There's production bike record, and then there's modified bike. But if you ask me, they're all modified in some way. But you know, I think the record at the moment, I think it's 240 kilometers an hour. I think. Wow. Now it was 211, but I think someone's gone faster. But I have looked at the footage of it, and I'm not 100% sure. But to be honest, if I go out if I set a goal that I'm going to break the record, but if I go well over or come close to it, then I'm going to be happy regardless. You know, I mean, I do want to tick that box and get the record. I think that I'm most capable of doing that. So I could probably I'm going to try my best, put it that way. And try my absolute best.
Amazing. How do you build that kind of speed? Are you towed in or something, or you have to build to that speed yourself?
Well, it's good you asked that. Basically, there is a point of speed where tucking or being in an aerodynamic position is faster. You simply can't break through the air by pedaling. So we're going to find a really big steep hill. It's usually on snow that these records are committed. And so the idea is to just go as fast as possible, down as steep as possible, and see how fast we can go. There are festivals that involve in this, which I am looking to go to in the future. And before I get too old, then I definitely want to tick this box. And hey, if I go well over 200 kilometers an hour on a bike, then I'm going to be really happy. So whether I get the record or not, then that's up to the discretion. I mean, like when I'm saying 240, I mean that is a record, but I haven't really delved into it that much to know if that is 100% official. But I think that's pretty much the mark that I need to come across. So, but it's definitely fast, that's for sure. But
that's ridiculous, far out.
It is done fast, but like you got to remember too, like when you're in the snow, like people don't realize, but like your perspective of speed completely goes out the window. You don't have trees going past you, you don't have rocks going past you. There's not people next to the track, so your idea of speed completely goes out the window. All speed is just a number on a digital clock, you know. And so that's all the speed is. Like your total idea of how fast you're actually going, it goes out the window.
How do you prepare for something like that?
Well, prepare for, I mean, I think after racing World Cup for a damn long time, I think I'm ready. So, but that is, ultimately, that is like the stepping stone of doing something like this. And I don't suggest it for everyone, but, you know, I do like going fast. I enjoy it. The fear thing, there just isn't any. So that's fine for it. I'm a bigger person, so that is going to help to a certain speed. There is a certain speed that you reach where terminal velocity or gravity speed then comes into that. Also, conditions come into it. So a lot comes into it. It's not just wanting to go that fast. It is your surroundings which govern that as well. So I'm just looking forward to the journey, and it is a box I want to tick. So I'm just going to put all the effort and knowledge that I know into doing that. So I'm looking forward to it.
What safety precautions are there? Because 240 kilometers an hour without a concrete steel cage around you, concrete steel cage, that's fucking madness, man. That's beyond loving my fellow loon. That's now I'm actually quite worried about thy fellow loon.
No, it's one of those things. I mean, I do have a dumb load of experience racing bikes, and sure enough, you're going to be going fast, but you know, consequences are you come off and slide down the snow hill. You know, that is like that is a massive possibility, that's for sure. But at the same time, like bikes are designed really well these days, and centrifugal force wheels that keeps you really steady. I mean, and so just having a will to do something like that, I mean, like I've already accomplished that goal basically. So it is something I'm looking forward to in the future, and yeah, just ticking boxes once again. You know, you always got to have it in a plan in the back of your mind, and that goes with everyone for everyone. Is just having those boxes and goals. You know, write them down, and you know, if I don't break a record or come closer, I think I do have a good chance, to be honest. But you know, it's the overall experience which will be the satisfying factor of it.
Yeah, you could have a time frame. So what's your time frame on it?
Time frame is, well, I mean, I'm still young. I'm only 42 years young, so there is no time frame. And like as all things go, I mean, I am a pretty determined person. Say, you know, the rule is, you know, stop, reload, and shoot again. That is the rule to live by, basically. So, you know, time is a continuous pathway as well. So there is no time limit, basically. There's, yeah.
Fair enough. I remember seeing you on Sports Tonight back in the day. You did that distance record, right? Or you went for a distance.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Record. Yeah. So what happened there?
Yeah, well, basically that was a goal that I wanted to achieve, which is the longest mountain bike jump ever. And so I teamed up with another Red Bull athlete, and then we got together and yeah, tried to break the record, which in turn at the time, I think that the record was 121 feet, where I did just go further than that, but I crashed on the landing. So like the rule is, I mean, regardless of what the rule is, I didn't complete it to myself. I crashed on the landing, so I didn't complete the task that I set out to do. And so as much as I'd like to claim it, I can't, and I didn't. So I didn't break the record. I was pretty damn close, but that's just what it is what it is. But it's all trial and error, you know. If we commended people that tried and failed, then we wouldn't hear the end of it from anyone. So
exactly.
So it is just something that I've wanted to do for a long time, the speed record, that is. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think I'm the man for the job, and I look forward to doing it. So yeah, that's
awesome, man. Well, good luck with it, dude.
Yeah, cheers.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I think
the time has come.
It's been a great chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had fun, guys. It's great. It's great to catch up, actually. And I just think we're in corners of Australia, but yeah, the beauty of technology, we can come together and enjoy ourselves. So yeah, I'd like to say thank you to you guys and enjoy the rest of your day.
Yeah.
Thank you as well. I had a great time.
Well,
any lasting thoughts?
Parting words?
Yeah, I'd like to say before, it seems to me that all our mistakes tended to happen when we're kind of by ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's important. You know, family is the most important thing. The older I get, that I discover. So it's about anyone out there who's struggling and whatnot, all making bad mistakes. Get a good support base around you, people who love you, that you love, because it holds you accountable and brings you up to a standard, which is, I think, is very important, because we can set quite low standards for ourselves when we're in that kind of funk.
In your hole.
Yeah, exactly. Because holes are literally low. You know what I mean? It's pulling yourself out with the support of others, and yeah, I can't stress enough the importance of family. Being, you know, if you have family out there, excellent. If you don't, well, find groups of friends where they could become your surrogate family, support groups, whatever. I hate to sound like preachy and whatnot, but yeah, it's just interesting that we all kind of hit our biggest mistakes when we're kind of out traveling by ourselves or out partying by ourselves, because, you know, we are pack animals and we are at our best when we are with our tribe, our pack. And when we stray from the pack, that's when we fuck up. And I certainly did.
Totally true. Totally true.
Yeah, that's right.
And who your pack is, you might hang with a bad pack.
Exactly. Very true. The wrong pack. Yeah. But yeah, family's everything. And I think, yeah, the older you get, the more you realize that.
Yeah.
That's right. You can always, I mean, like, if you come across situations where, you know, things that you disagree with, I mean, it's okay to leave. It's okay to say no. That's it. And like, we all learn from our mistakes, but sometimes you learn from those mistakes enough to then not even be surrounded by those opportunities where mistakes can be made. So that's just all a learning curve. And, you know, you learn from your mistakes by not making them as well. So
100%.
Heads together.
Ambrose, last thoughts?
Basically just that, lessons. Yeah, I think that's the vibe for today, is lessons. We've all had them. We've all learned from them. We're still learning new ones. And I think one major component for all three of us is alcohol's not a big factor anymore. That caused a lot of dramas and a lot of lessons. I know for me in the past. It's onwards and upwards. So
yeah,
that's right.
100%.
Stick close to your friends and family and don't do anything too dumb.
That's right.
Yeah.
Not too dumb.
Not too dumb.
All right, gentlemen, an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
Great chat.
Thank you guys very much.
All right.
Yeah.